Hello and welcome to Debt Galore No More. My name's Kara and I apologize for the lighting. It has been raining here all week, which is very unusual for the desert, but we really needed the rain, so this is the best room that I could get a decent lighting situation. We're in my guest bedroom today. I want to talk about why I've decided to do this no-buy year in 2021, and without further ado, let's just get right into it. Okay, so for starters, I have absolutely fallen into the lifestyle inflation trap. Before I talk about that, let me give you a little bit of a background. If you are not interested in this story about my life, then just go to this timestamp and get back to the list. So in May of 2015, I moved from upstate New York, which is where I was born and raised, to Southwest Virginia. My boyfriend at the time, now my husband, had just graduated from college only days before, so we didn't have jobs and we lived in the oldest house I've ever seen in my entire life. It actually used to be a post office. Now, the cost of living between the two places is actually not much different, but let me just give you a little bit of a perspective as to the location. So when I was growing up, I was only a 2-minute drive to like this gigantic mall, and when I lived in Virginia, I was a 15-minute drive away from the only stoplight in the county. And I have to say it was a culture shock for me. Then a year later in 2016, I purchased my first home in a nearby city that looked a little bit more like civilization. And in 2019, I was offered a job here in Arizona and I could not get away from that place fast enough. Just 2 weeks after I received the offer, we packed, put the house on the market, and drove for 3 days across the country. Just 3 months later, we were able to purchase this house that I'm living in now with the money that we received from selling the house in Virginia. But the cost of living here keeps creeping up with all of the people moving here from less affordable places like, say, California. Now, to make this long story a little bit shorter, within 6 months, I received another job offer, and along with this came more than a 50% increase in pay. So here I go, thinking I can afford anything I want without even worrying about the price tag. And now we're basically in debt up to our eyeballs. So we've added solar panels and a pool and landscaping in our backyard. So most of our debt actually comes from large purchases like this rather than little tiny purchases adding up over time. But the thing is, we saw these as investments. However, now that I look at how much interest I'm paying over the life of these loans, it genuinely makes me sick. So once my current debt is gone, I never want to be in debt ever again. And this is the main reason that I wanted to do a no-buy year. And another reason that I want to do this no-buy year is that, in my opinion, a lot of banks, credit unions, and lending companies are not the easiest to deal with. Let me give you an example. Remember when I told you we invested in solar panels and a pool and landscaping? Well, we ordered an appraisal so we could have the PMI taken off of our mortgage because we clearly have more than 20% equity in the home now. And if you don't know what PMI is, I'll just insert something around here. So the bank that our mortgage is through is making us jump through hoops just to get this PMI taken off. And it's $100 a month. It's still $100 that we could have to do something else with, to put toward principal. But it's been 3 months since we've gotten the appraisal and they're just not doing anything about it, and it's infuriating. So the next reason that I'm doing this no-buy year is that I'm sick of being marketed to and falling for it. I'm sick of going into a store just to see if maybe I'll like something and want to purchase it. I'm also doing like a mindset shift to higher quality items. So for instance, I mentioned in a previous video that I don't want to participate in fast fashion. I actually want to buy things that will last me a while so I don't need to replace them. They're not harmful to the environment while they're being made or used, and they're also not harmful to me while they're being used. So I've decided to have like a word of the year, and I've chosen consistency and intentionality. And intentionality, I think, is something that everyone who's trying to do a no-buy year or lean toward a more minimalist lifestyle can really get on board with. If we become more intentional with our purchases, we will not only have a less cluttered home, but we will have a less cluttered mind. This will allow us to focus more on ourselves and what we want to achieve. And I really do believe that with every dollar you spend, you are casting a vote. So if a group of people decide to stop purchasing something, the demand will drastically decrease and companies will stop producing it altogether. So we really can make a difference in this world. Okay, that got kind of deep, but back to the list. I'm really hoping that this no-buy year will open my eyes to the things that I already own. I plan on taking inventories of my makeup, my clothes, and other things around the house, just so I can see on paper what I have spent my money on. Now that I'm getting toward the end of my first no-buy month, I can already see a difference in my bank account and in my home and my mindset, really. And you know what? I don't feel like I've missed out on anything at all. So just to wrap it up here, my intention of doing this no-buy year 2021 is to pay off as much debt as I possibly can. If we don't include my mortgage, I have 5 loans and 1 credit card that need to be paid off. I have a plan to break down my debt and put that in a future video. I will use my real numbers, so if you want to follow along with my journey and be notified for that, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell icon so you won't miss it. And let's keep this conversation going in the comments. I would love to know why you are doing a no buy or low buy year or month. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.